particularly since my wife was here to hear it. I think many of you, this Myrna, who's with me today. I particularly want to thank you for your leadership and advocacy for housing. Your family is well known. Of course, the C.W. Brooks Center here, here to your family. We very much thank you for your extraordinary leadership. I am so happy to be back here. I was supposed to be here in October, and I was going to be here for the opening. Yeah. September. I was supposed, and it was the end of September. End of September. All right. September, October. I was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, they called late votes in Washington in the Senate, and I couldn't get there. So I really wanted to get back here. So I've been asking Robin to figure out a time that I could come back to be able to see this incredible facility that was built, and to congratulate you all. It was worth the wait. And it's now a nice warm day outside. It's going to be chilly, but it's going to be with you all, and I thank you very much for your hospitality. I do want to underscore one point. I'll make my little commercial about how this facility was built. American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Thank you, President Obama, for your leadership and giving us the ability to help rebuild our community. There was about $9 million, over $9 million of recovery fund money that the President and I supported. Senator Mikulski, strong supporter of that program. We knew that that was a way to create jobs. Over 400 jobs were created as a result of this particular project. So we created jobs, and then we have this beautiful facility at the end of the day. That's what the recovery is about. That's getting our economy back on track. And we're going to talk about senior issues today. But I tell you, one of the most important things we need to do is get our economy back on track. And I want to thank Ruth Ann for her leadership here in the county, Lou for your leadership in the city. You got people who are visionary about developing the future for Washington County and Hagerstown. And it's really always enjoy working with you, and we're working together to make sure that we protect the priorities that are important for the people of our community. I must tell you, there are two different visions that are out there today. And we're in a fight. And so let me be very frank about my vision, President Obama's vision, and where I want to see us as it relates to the dignity of our seniors. The dignity of our seniors. To me, two of the most important programs ever passed by the Congress of the United States was Social Security and Medicare. I'm a strong proponent of both programs. Before we had Social Security and Medicare, 1 out of every 3 seniors lived in poverty. Couldn't get health care. Health insurance companies didn't want to write insurance for older people. You know why? As you get older, you use the health system more. It's a fact of life. You can attest to So that's why we passed Medicare in 1965, because private insurance companies weren't interested in insuring seniors, and we wanted to make sure you had adequate health care. Social Security makes sure that you have retirement money. Social Security is the only lifetime inflation-proof annuity. You can't outlive Social Security. Remember a hearing I had one time. I was in the Ways and Means Committee in the House of Representatives. A person testified about how his parents were in great shape. They had a business. And they sold the business when they retired. And they took it out over 20 years because they said they couldn't possibly live longer than 85. Now here they are, 90 years of age, still healthy, and they don't have any more money left other than Social Security. Other than Social Security will always be there for you. So yes, I get a little passionate about protecting Social Security and Medicare because I know how important it is to our community. There are two different visions about the future of Social Security and Medicare. The so-called Ryan budget that passed the House of Representatives gives one vision about America's future. And that vision is, look, we shouldn't have a government insurance program for our seniors. We should let private insurance companies take care of you. So we'll give you a voucher that's worth a certain amount of money. And you take that voucher and then you try to find a private insurance company that will give you an adequate insurance policy. Now, under Medicare, you don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions. You don't have to worry about benefits being reduced. They can't be reduced. They're set by statute. You have these guaranteed protections in the government insurance program. But if you go to a private insurance plan, there's no such protection. And we know over time, health costs go up faster than general living expenses. So those extra costs will be your costs. Well, I opposed that plan. Senator Mikulski opposed that plan. We are not going to let them privatize Medicare. Instead, under the health reform bill that passed, we improved Medicare. We expanded Medicare. And now Medicare covers a wellness program. Every year you can have a wellness exam. Medicare now no longer co-payments on your preventive care. And we are closing the coverage gap, as we call it, the donut hole, in Medicare. On prescription drugs, if you spend more than a couple $1,000s, you fall into what's known as the coverage gap, the donut hole. And then you have to pay the full cost, no longer. We're going to eliminate that completely, provide full benefits. But perhaps the most important thing that was done under the health reform bill, and there are those in Washington who want to repeal that bill. And there's those who are running for president who want to repeal that bill. That bill extended the life and health of Medicare by a decade. If we don't make those types of changes that we did in the Recovery Act, Medicare won't be there. And there's some people in Washington who want to see that happen. Two different visions of what we want for the country. On Social Security, we know that there's those in Washington who want to privatize Social Security. To believe that you'll do better if you invest in the market. Take your own money and invest in the market. Well, look what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years. We are going to fight to protect Social Security. We're not going to let them do that. The Ryan budget would have changed the way we calculate the annual cost of living adjustments. As you know, the last couple of years, they haven't been great. In fact, we haven't had them to do. Now we're getting a 3.6% increase. But what the Ryan budget would do would actually make that even lower. And your benefits over time would shrink. We're fighting them. We're opposed to those types of changes. So we're fighting, and we're winning some of those battles. The Ryan budget was rejected by the United States Senate. And I am proud about that. Rejected by President Obama. We had a different way to do things. And you know, we went through this whole battle in Washington over raising the debt ceiling. And I don't want to go over all the details of it again, because it was an ugly situation. We shouldn't have done that. But one of the things that we did, this is one of the things that Senator Mikulski and I fought very hard to make sure it was done, is that we protected Medicare beneficiaries and Social Security beneficiaries from that budget fight. Now, we've got to deal with the deficit. The deficit's a serious problem for this country. Serious problem. We're going to have to fix it. I'll be glad to tell you how we got here, because there were policies that I thought were wrong at the time and spoke against. But we got to, for the sake of our country, we've got to get our budget into better balance. That means we've got to create more jobs, put people to work. That's the most important thing we can do. And we passed a bill that requires us to do at least another $1.2 trillion in deficit reduction over the next 10 years. That's a lot of money. Even in Washington, $1.2 trillion is a lot of money. And we don't do that, we have across-the-board cuts. All programs are reduced, but there are exceptions. And we fought for these exceptions. Social Security is off the table. We protected Social Security. Medicare beneficiaries are off the table. We protected Medicare beneficiaries. So we were able to protect those programs. So I come here today to tell you, I am so honored to represent you in the Senate, and I thank you very much for giving me that honor. I'm going to continue to fight for programs that allow us to build this incredible facility. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the federal partnership in making sure that we have affordable housing for our seniors, and that we have programs for our seniors, and we have affordable housing in the community. And I'm going to continue to fight for those programs, because that, to me, is what America is about.